Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of problem set 77. I wanted to cover a couple of other examples for you guys. Okay, I have written on the board 75% of what number equals 600 from example 3. If you notice, I already translated the sentence for you. Again, make sure you put it exactly in the same order that the sentence says and don't change them. Because this is a percent, I'm going to say 75% of what number. Now, I have to isolate the variable and solve for Wn by getting rid of the 75%. The problem is I cannot divide by a percent like this. Okay, I can't do that. So instead, what I have to do is put this over 100% and cancel my percentages, and then reduce this to 3 over 4 times Wn equals 600. Please make sure you do this step. Don't try to divide by 75, because that is not a 75, that's a percentage, and the percentage is equal to 100. You are then going to get rid of the 3/4 by using the reciprocal. The 4's will cancel and the 3's will cancel. When you multiply by the reciprocal, you must always do it on both sides. So I'm going to also do it on this side, times 4/3. Now I'm going to solve by reducing by 200. And then I'm going to say Wn equals, let's see, put it up here. I'm going to say Wn equals 800. Now in this question, it did not ask me for a percentage like the other one, so I'm not going to convert it to a percent by multiplying by 100. It asked me for what number. It was already a percent, so it would not make any sense to make this to another percentage. Now I wanted to show you that you could take this equation, 75% times what number equals 600, and you could make this a decimal and say 0.75 times Wn equals 600. Notice I didn't put the times symbol because we know when numbers and letters are next to each other, it means multiply, so it's the same thing. And you could divide by 0.75 if you choose, rather than making it a fraction, and then you would go 0.75. But if you do it this way, you have to make this a whole number, 1, 2. So you would get 60,000 divided by 75, and then you would have to reduce it, and when you reduce it, you would get 3/4. Okay? I don't do it that way because I don't like having to move the decimal and having to divide by, find a common denominator that goes into both. That's the only reason I don't do it. But you're able to do that, and if you do it correctly, you should still come up with this answer. Okay, so let's look at the next one, example 5. So this, again, if you notice the awkwardness of it, I'm going to read it to you. Example 5 says 60 is 150% of what number? So you have to write it what it says. So 60 equals 150% of what number? Now, at this point, once you write the sentence, it's perfectly fine to take this and write it at the end. So it's okay if you want to say 150% times Wn equals 60. That looks a little bit more natural. That's okay as long as you completely move everything the right way. In other words, don't put the 150 on the left side and put the 60 next to the Wn. That's the only caution. All right, now I'm going to put this over 100 because I find it simpler to reduce. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And I have 15 over 10. 15 over 10, if I divide by 5, okay, divide by 5, that's going to give me 3 halves times Wn equals 60. Okay, so then I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. The 2's cancel, the 3's cancel. Multiply by the reciprocal on the other side. The 3 cancels with the 60. And you get Wn equals 40. And that is your solution. Okay guys, so that's a lot going on, so I hope that you watch the videos, both parts, and then let me know if you have questions, okay? The main thing is make sure you flip the one next to the letter. Flip the one next to the letter. Don't flip the one that's already on the other side of the equal sign. That's the biggest problem that most students have. Okay guys, talk to you later.